This is Season 8, Episode 162 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.
Sometimes the important thing is not the number of miles you've driven, but what's going on inside your head while driving. The Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast will stimulate your mind and keep you company while on the road. Join us for education, motivation, and inspiration from wherever you may be in our nation. You'll hear roundtable discussions about important information that's impacting our industry. Plus, you'll learn more about new technology, equipment, driving opportunities, safety, and operations. Get driver success and fitness tips to keep you profitable, safe, healthy, as well as entertaining stories from the road. And don't you know, we've all got a few of those. We might be traveling in different directions, but we're all part of one driver community at the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. With your host, trucker Tim Cicerelli.
Well, hello, friends, and welcome to episode 162 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. Tim Cicerelli here, otherwise known as Trucker Tim, and thank you so much for letting me sit shotgun with you while you're out there on the road. In this episode, we have some amazing information that's going to help you have some extra peace of mind while you're on the road. We'll get to that in just a moment. Also, a very heartwarming and touching segment coming up with our Driver's Spotlight. During Driver Appreciation Week, I had the honor of sitting down with driver Raymond Hatchett Jr. And together we shared something deeply personal, our stories of loss. I opened up about losing my wife Amy to breast cancer last May, and Raymond shared the heartbreaking loss of his son, Jalen. It was not an easy conversation, but it was a powerful one about grief, strength, and more importantly, the incredible community that we've built here at Stevens Transport through this podcast. So please stick around for this episode. It's sure to tug at your heartstrings, and hopefully you'll keep Raymond in your prayers for his comfort. We'll also share some exciting news about what's happening at Stevens Transport with our October news bulletin. But let's kick off this episode talking more about that peace of mind I mentioned a few moments ago and how Stevens is offering legal protection for our drivers for under $3 a week. We'll explain how right now in our Stevens Roundtable. It's our Stevens Roundtable. This is where we give you an inside look at the inner workings of Stevens Transport and what they're doing to make your job as one of our drivers more lucrative and so that you can protect your career, which is why we invited Marilyn Serber on with us. She's with Driver's Legal Plan, not an employee of Stevens Transport, but an organization that's providing a new benefit for our drivers. So welcome to the podcast, Marilyn.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. We're really excited to be at Stevens today. I'm a longtime friend of the Stevens crew, and so I'm excited every time I get to come here. So thanks for having me. We're really excited to talk about Driver's Legal Plan, and kudos to Stevens for offering this as a benefit to their drivers. What Driver's Legal Plan is a legal retainer that that offers drivers an opportunity for $2.98 per week to have a lawyer on retainer in case they have an accident, get a ticket, or have an inspection. And so if they become a member of our plan, then when they have those accidents or those violations, then they send that stuff into us and they pay a small fee, and then we handle that for them from nose to tail.
Wow.
And so this is a payroll deduction benefit that Stevens offers, again, for $2.98 per week to help a driver, protect their CDL, right? I mean, drivers are out there. Most drivers are going to get a ticket at some point. It's not, and so you have to be prepared.
Or some incidents. Yeah, and
right.
for $12 a month.
For 12, right. Well, and one of the other things, and Stevens hires a lot of entry-level drivers, which is great, right? Students coming in, but one of the things about becoming a CDL driver is that all the activity on your regular license still impacts you, right? So people go home on home time and they get violations. They might get a ticket on their boat, right? Or a motorcycle. We help you with any of those violations so that, what you're doing on your home time doesn't impact your ability, to keep your job, right? Because if a driver gets a violation that puts them over the threshold for Stevens safety guidelines, then they don't get to work here anymore.
So in essence, what they're purchasing is peace of mind.
Right.
I mean, for a very, very low price. So let's go over, you mentioned briefly just a few of the reasons why they would need this. Tickets or perhaps an accident. Anything else underneath that umbrella that they would be protected from by participating in this program?
Yeah, we do the inspection. So if they get a DOT inspection, even without a ticket or an accident, we can data queue that if there's a reason. And we also will automatically do a data queue on any violation that we handle. And so that is the other the other case where we might get involved would be if an accident, a violation, or just a pure inspection.
All right. So again, it just broadens the peace of mind that you can have while you're out there on the road working for Stevens, or even when you're on your own in your own personal time as well.
Right.
How can a driver enroll in this program? Is it something that just happens automatically? Do they have to decline it? What do they have to do?
They can go to Driver Pulse through 10th Street. So they have the Driver Pulse app on their phone, and that's where they go to fill out their paperwork for orientation and do those types of things, and they will be able to fill out the enrollment form there in Driver Pulse. Another reason why, drivers need driver's legal plan, and particularly, again, for those entry-level drivers, is that you want to make sure that you are protecting your CDL at all costs, because that is your key to making a living, right?
Yeah.
And every company is going to run your motor vehicle report, your MVR, and your PSP before you go to work for them. They're also running it annually here at Stevens, and probably even more often than that with the MVR monitoring. And so they're seeing all of those things that are coming up on your record. And so that's your credit report. Just like you would be applying for a loan for a house, you're applying for, your job as a driver.
This is the way you make your money.
Yes, for any company, right? And those two things have to be clean, or it impacts your ability to earn a living.
So if there are some marks on these reports, how do you help them get it clean again?
So
kind of like there's credit repair agencies.
Credit
This
repair
would be
agency.
the same thing,
yes. And so I think, that what we can do there is we're obviously going to protect you moving forward, but we can go back and look at old things, and we can file some data queues for you, depending on the time frame of when things were. If it's still within the statute of limitations, then we can try to still retroactively remove some of that from your record for you.
And that's all included in their less than $3 a week?
It is. Yes, that's all included. Yes. And when drivers we do think it's important for drivers to have some skin in the game. So the $2.98 per week gets them the legal retainer. And then if they get a violation, as long as it's not a DUI or something excessive, it's $100 fee. So they will pay a $100 fee to driver's legal plan. And that is for us to work that case nose to tail, including filing the data queue.
So the $100 fee, that's on top of the less than $3 a week, but a minimal cost.
Correct.
When you compare the benefits of what somebody's receiving by participating in driver's legal plan.
Yes.
So we just threw a lot of information to our drivers. It's new.
Yes.
It's pretty exciting.
Yes.
Who can they contact if they need some more information?
If you would like to get more information about Driver's Legal Plan, you can go to driverslegalplan.com. You can check us out on Facebook or LinkedIn on the Driver Pulse app, or you can call us at 1-800-580-8789.
Marilyn Serber from Driver's Legal Plan will have links to everything she just mentioned in the episode notes, so when it's safe to do so, I would bookmark and save this episode in the event something happens. Sign up, and that way it's there for you if you ever need them. Marilyn, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Well, that was very encouraging for our drivers. Thanks again to Marilyn Serber from Driver's Legal Plan for joining us and letting us know about the amazing new benefit, affordable benefit for our drivers. And I'd like to get a Stevens Transport perspective on that. So we're inviting back Ken Resta, our Senior Director of Safety. Ken, thanks for joining us here, buddy.
Tim, good to see you.
And boy, that was an invigorating conversation and a wonderful new benefit for our drivers. As our Senior Director of Safety, that must make you very happy to represent our drivers as well.
It really does make me happy. And Marilyn is such a wonderful person. We've had a relationship for many years, and she's just excellent in the industry. Great product, great tool for our drivers, and really great for the company. Driver Legal Plan offers us the benefit as a carrier for any time a citation is written to the carrier. That's part of our subscription. So there's an opportunity for us to be defended as well whenever something's written to the carrier. For the drivers, any citation, regardless of the type of citation they receive, would automatically be defended as part of their subscription.
Wow, worry-free.
For a driver, the benefit there is that their motor vehicle report and their PSP, right, their performance at Roadside, that's their resume for the industry. And so to be able to protect that, knowing that this exists out there for you as a benefit, is amazing.
And Marilyn told us how our drivers can gather some more information, and we've got that in the episode notes too. But this seems like a pretty easy process for them. It's kind of like sign up, have the less than $3 a week taken out, and then when something happens, reach out and see what needs to be done.
The process itself is so simple. We have recently secured a relationship with 10th Street.
For those that are new, just kind of fill us in on what that relationship, how that helps our drivers.
So our new relationship, we've really expanded our footprint with 10th Street. 10th Street for Stevens managed all of our recruiting processes and our onboarding programs. Mm-hmm. We've expanded that to a full complement of safety services, which includes learning management systems, right? The ability to launch an app on their phone called Pulse and in real time deliver to them briefings, training, conversations, documents that are due. If they get a license renewal, they can upload a picture of that license into a workflow and they won't have to come back to the yard, right? As it pertains to driver legal plan, they can launch that Pulse app at any time, scroll down to the driver legal plan subtitle, and click enroll. It's that simple. Once they click the enrollment, it'll prompt us here in our driver qualifications department, mm-hmm. and they'll be immediately enrolled from that moment on. There's no delay. There's no waiting period. As soon as they click that enroll button, they're covered. So huge benefits all the way around. We don't want them to put themselves into a position where they need to rely on it. However, there are going to be times where that's going to become necessary.
Well, it's
right?
just like insurance.
There when you need it. That's right.
Whether it's health insurance or car insurance or even life insurance. I mean, we don't want to have to access that, but when we do, how wonderful that it's there.
Yes.
And then here's what you get on a weekly basis for less than $3.
That's right.
Peace of mind, if and when something were to happen.
It's worth its weight.
Ken Resta, Senior Director of Safety. Always good to have you. And there's a lot going on here coming up in the fall and winter months. And we'll have you back again soon, Ken, as we approach the fall and winter seasons. It's time for weather preparedness. And our Senior Director of Safety really needs to give us the lowdown on that. Thank you, Ken.
That's right. Let the fall come before winter. Let's not wait for the winter and then fall.
Now more than ever, truck drivers are true American heroes. The men and women who literally keep America moving by delivering goods across the country. Being a professional driver is a rewarding, financially lucrative, long-term career filled with exciting adventures. A career where you'll never have to worry about job security. If you have your CDL and keep it up, it will sustain you for the long haul. You can see the country, serve your country, and provide a good life for your family. Whether you'd rather haul on a dedicated route or lane, or prefer working with one specific customer, if you want to own your business, we have a program that sets you up for success with all the tools and support you need. We've got opportunities in our intermodal rail division and have programs to help military veterans transition into trucking careers. We have second generations of drivers whose parents have driven for Stevens, who then trained their children and are now truck drivers. Some are even small fleet owners. So, whatever your dream is, you can achieve it right here at Stevens. If you're looking for a company with a 40-plus year track record that's never had a layoff and just had the largest pay increase in company history for both new and experienced drivers, Stevens Transport has you covered. We offer the finest tools and technology and provide our drivers with the best state-of-the-art equipment on the market. Our infrastructure will support you both on and off the road. As a driver for Stevens, you become part of our family. Many companies throw the word family around. We're family-owned, family-run, and family-driven. Our 40-plus years of success is built on family. At Stevens, you're not just a number. Our drivers are part of our extended family, and we recognize and honor them every chance we get. If you want to be among the top income earners among professional drivers, if you want great benefits, if you want to have every type of driving opportunity at your fingertips, if you want to be part of a company that will stand behind you and ensure your success, come join the Stevens Transport family today and become an American hero. So, what are you waiting for? Take the first step toward your future career with the best trucking company in America. Become part of the Stevens Transport family today by calling our recruiting department at 1-800-333-8595 or apply online at stevenstransport.com.
Ever wondered what it's like to drive across the country and get paid to see America's breathtaking landscapes? Welcome to life as a team driver with Stevens Transport. The life of a trucker can sometimes feel solitary, but with team driving, you're never alone. Let's dive into how teaming up with another driver can transform your trucking career. So what exactly is team driving? Simply put, it's when two drivers share the responsibilities of operating the same truck. This allows for continuous travel and efficient delivery. Federal regulations require solo drivers to be off-duty for at least 10 consecutive hours after 11 hours of driving. Team driving, however, maximizes productivity by alternating driving shifts, cutting down on overall trip times. By working in shifts, team drivers can cover over 5,500 miles a week. That's more than double what solo drivers can achieve, leading to more priority loads and higher earnings. Efficiency is key. With two drivers, tasks like loading and unloading become quicker and easier. Plus, you'll earn more per mile. One of the greatest perks? You get to choose your driving partner, whether it's a close friend or a new acquaintance. Having a partner on the road makes those long hauls more enjoyable. And what about rest? Team drivers sleep in comfy bunk beds while the truck is moving, allowing for nearly non-stop travel without sacrificing sleep. Safety is another major advantage. With two drivers, there's an added layer of oversight to ensure committed safety. So, if you're ready to take your trucking career to the next level, consider team driving with Stevens Transport. It's the perfect blend of companionship, efficiency, and increased earnings. Explore the benefits of team driving and start your adventure today with Stevens Transport. Apply now and join a team that drives you to success. Your journey starts here.
Welcome back to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. My name is Tim Cicerelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. If you wouldn't mind, when you hit your next stop, please follow or subscribe to this podcast from whichever podcast platform you're enjoying it from. We are everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible. If it's a platform with a podcast on it, we are there. And by following the podcast, you'll have a brand new episode waiting for you each and every week as soon as it's released. And if you wouldn't mind, please leave us a review. Tell us what you like about the show and what you'd like changed. We are producing this podcast for you to keep you educated, informed, and hopefully a little entertained as well. It's our Driver Spotlight. We're recording this at the Driver Appreciation Week taking place here at Stevens Transport in September. And you know, doing this podcast over the last 8 seasons, you develop relationships with people. And I'm not even talking about the face-to-face relationships. The beauty of this podcast is you're kind enough to let us in your ear while you're out there on the road and build this relationship through this podcast. And that enables me, when I'm here on the yard, to meet folks for the first time face-to-face, but you kind of feel like you know each other because we get to spend time with each other in the cab and through these microphones. And case in point here is driver Raymond Hatchett Jr., who walked up to us a few moments ago. And Raymond, first of all, thanks for being on the podcast, buddy.
I'm glad to be here.
You say you listen to the podcast.
I do. I listen to quite a few episodes.
And now you're on it. and I'm grateful for you to take the time to be on it. But I'm just going to be incredibly transparent. And for those that might have listened to this podcast for any length of time over the last few months or followed Stevens Transport on social media, in May, I lost my wife, Amy, to her courageous battle to cancer. And so the last few days of being here on the yard, to have people I've never met come up to me and tell me how sorry they are for my loss, it really touches me to have this kind of connection with you, and you in particular for doing what you did and saying that to me. And then in turn, we'll talk about your expertise and your accomplishments behind the wheel in a minute, but just want to talk to you as a friend now, face to face. And then you shared with me that you recently suffered an immense loss in your life.
Yeah, my son, he was shot and killed May 14th. I was actually here on the yard, when I got the news, and I was home the next day. Stevens heard about it, and I told him about it, and they actually flew me home.
Yeah.
And it was probably the hardest flight of my life.
Brother, I'm so sorry. And I know that doesn't feel like enough, but I hope you can feel that from me and from our friends on the other side of the speakers listening. To try to endure that type of loss is incomprehensible. It is. And I just want to let you know, buddy, that we're here for you. And
I feel it. I appreciate it. I mean, it's just it's different losing a kid. I think as
everybody's greatest fear. That's
right.
A parent.
I mean, I used to have dreams about that. Just weird dreams about losing a child, and when it actually happens, it's unimaginable. As human beings, we're designed to bury our parents. Our kids aren't supposed to bury us, and it's like, how do I keep going forward? I still have 2 daughters, and I still got to be there for them.
That's how. Yeah.
And then when people ask me, like, I meet people all the time being a trainer. My students, are you married? You got kids? And I used to say, yeah, I got 3 kids, and I got a son and 2 daughters. Now what do I say? Do I had 3 and now I have 2, or do I have 3? It's like, I don't know how to answer those questions anymore.
It's different, isn't it? The dynamic is very strange, and it's one that we have to learn to adapt to, and it becomes part of your story.
Absolutely.
What's your son's name?
His name is Jalen. Jalen Joray Hatchett. 21 years old.
We don't normally handle these types of topics on this podcast, but when you and I were talking off the microphone a few moments ago, this podcast should be more than just what it's intended to do, to teach people about the principles and practices of what Stevens Transport stands for, as they have for the last 45 years, to recruit new drivers, to retain our drivers. But with 8 seasons behind us, I think it's also become this community.
Right.
And so, I don't know, Raymond, I just think that like you came up to me, I've never met you before, and you expressed your desire to offer your condolences to me about my wife, just shows that that's a real community. And
right. Well, like you said, listening to you in the truck and then following you on social media, like I see your face, I hear your voice. It's almost like I know you. You might not necessarily know me, but I feel like I know you. And I just want to come and just say I know how you feel.
Well, it means a lot to me, brother.
Loss is loss.
Loss is loss. Grief is grief. I have another podcast I produce called It's a Tough Subject, and it's about loss and grief. And so they say all the time, grief is grief, whether it's for a pet,
right?
Not to mitigate what you and I are going through.
Absolutely.
Or there's so many different forms of it. And the reason we're bringing that up now is because just want to really shine a light on the community that we have here at Stevens Transport. And I love what you said, how Stevens flew you home. Go take care of your family and yourself at the time of this tragedy that took place. So we're going to have you back for another episode. I want to talk about your career and what you've accomplished. Now you can inspire our younger drivers and those thinking about coming into this industry for Stevens Transport. But I just wanted to bring you on to thank you and let you know we love you, and we're a community, and we're here for you, brother.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast, Driver Spotlight, a gentleman that we had on a few weeks ago, had to invite him back. You might remember us talking to Raymond Hatchett
Jr.
You might remember a few weeks ago talking to Raymond Hatchett Jr. He was kind enough to join us and share his story during Driver Appreciation Week about the loss of his son and how we as a Stevens family are here for one another. And so if you didn't get a chance to hear that episode, please go back and look for it and listen to it, because it'll open up your heart and make you feel grateful to be a part of this community like we have here at Stevens Transport. So, Raymond, thanks for being back with us, buddy.
Thank you for having me back.
I want to talk a little bit about what you do for Stevens Transport, and then how what you went through the loss of your son Raymond, and how that can translate into how you train the drivers. So first and foremost, congratulations on completing not your first or your third lease recently.
Yeah, I finished my third. Yep, I'm actively on my fourth.
All right, congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment.
It is. It's dedication, determination, grit, grind, blood, sweat, tears. It's all the above.
And the fruits of your labor coming through by finishing those leases. And that opportunity is available for anybody who wants to do everything that you just said you got to do. And put your head down, grind, follow the processes, follow what's put in place for you, and you could have success like Raymond has. Raymond, you're a trainer. How has the loss of your son changed the way you train and what you might teach these drivers? Because you deal with a lot out here on the road.
Absolutely.
On top of that, having to deal with grief, or maybe somebody's going through something beyond or different than dealing with grief. It could be a divorce, it could be a financial issue, it could be several things. How do you navigate that on top of what you already have to do?
Well, the first thing I did, when I lost my son, I took a month off.
Yeah.
And
good.
When I came back to work, and I jumped right back into training, and I just felt different. I wasn't the same person I was, and I actually took some time off from training just to be in the truck by myself. Because it's kind of, when you have loss, the bills don't stop.
That's right.
So I took as much time off as I could afford to take off, but then got back to work, and I jumped right back into it thinking that was going to be a distraction, and it wasn't. So what I did was, I asked for time off from training just so if I wanted to be in the truck, and just bust out crying and whatever, that I could, and I didn't have to be, professional. I didn't have to explain to, my student or what was going on or why I'm crying or maybe why I might have been irritated that day or just whatever.
Good decision.
And that brings me to the realization that when I get back to training, that I can teach them, that it's not just a job, that we are human beings and we're going to have, real life problems, real life stresses, losses, all while being on the road. And we have to find that balance into doing what we do for our careers and then balancing our life on top of that, because we all have bills, we're all going to have loss. But
life keeps going, doesn't it? Even though your world stopped, the world doesn't stop, does it?
Yep. Not only did my world stop, it completely changed.
Forever.
Like the whole dynamic of what I thought was normal is not normal anymore.
Yeah.
And my son always called me Padre. And so every few days or whatever, I get a text, "Hey Padre, how you doing?" Or, "Hey Padre, you got $10. Hey Padre, you got this." And it's just not getting those texts anymore. It's difficult.
I know.
And I still gotta, still be a professional, still do my job and still maintain, all while having that in the back of my mind, in the back of my head.
And so, are you back to training now?
Not yet.
Not yet. But when you do, you have a whole new perspective on how you can teach these new drivers not just how to be out there on the road safely and do their job efficiently and effectively, but how to manage what's going on upstairs and in your heart too. Because, like you said, we're human beings and we got to get out there and we have to still do what we got to do while dealing with the others. And I think, unfortunately, you having to go through this tragedy, I think you're going to have a lot of people benefit from your loss that will help them, and you'll be able to also mentor them as years go through. So one of the things I've learned through losing my wife a few months ago is, as weird as this may sound, is there's oftentimes a lot of beauty can come out of something tragic if your eyes are open to it. And with you being here at Stevens Transport as a trainer, think of all of the shade trees of which you will not sit under, my friend, that you're going to help people with. And I know you're going to be a blessing to many. You're a strong man, I can tell just by the time that we've spent together, and so grateful for the example you're setting for our new drivers and for your strength and courage, which is not going unnoticed.
Right. I mean, I said it's changed my perspective on how I even look at the students, because just like they don't know me, I don't know them. They could have suffered a loss coming into training or during training, so it's teaching me how to handle them and be, like I said, a role model to them and help them get through whatever they might have been going through, because they have a story just like I have a story.
You never know what someone's going through, do you?
Absolutely.
You never know. You know, whether you're passing them in the grocery store or on the road, out on the
Exactly. You always
highway,
say
on the
smile to
yard.
somebody, you just make somebody's day. You don't know what they're going through. And
Well,
so-
listen, I would never have known you're going through what you're going through with the smile you greeted me with. I'm glad that we're now friends beyond just what you hear in your ears on the podcast, buddy.
Absolutely.
And looking forward to staying in contact with you and grateful for your courage, your strength, and your example. Raymond Hatchett, we love you, brother, and keep moving.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you again, Raymond Hatchett Jr., for sharing your story with us, buddy. And know that all of us at Stevens Transport and all the drivers listening to this podcast are lifting you up in our thoughts and our prayers. Time now to become informed as to what's happening at Stevens Transport with our October News Bulletin.
Welcome to Stevens Transport News Bulletin. We bring you the latest updates in the transportation industry. Kenworth Fastport and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation's Hiring Our Heroes initiative have named 4 finalists for the 2025 Transition Trucking Driving for Excellence Award, and Stevens Transport is proud to announce that Mark Scriven is among them. Scriven, a U.S. Army veteran and Savannah, Georgia native, served 9 years as a Patriot operator/maintainer and rose to staff surgeon. He now drives and trains with Stevens Transport, bringing military discipline and leadership to the road. The finalists were revealed at the Kenworth plant in Chillicothe, Ohio, following a reception at the National Veterans Memorial in Columbus. Scriven said being among the final 4 is a true blessing. The grand prize, a brand new Kenworth T680 truck. Finalists will also receive monetary awards. Public voting runs from November 1st through Veterans Day, and the winner will be announced December 12th in Washington, D.C. Shifting gears now, Stevens Transport is proud to welcome Serena Vogel as the new Vice President of Driver Resources. A seasoned transportation leader, Serena brings over 20 years of experience in recruiting, retention, safety, and fleet operations. She most recently served as Senior VP of Recruiting and Retention at EVO Transportation, the nation's second-largest U.S. postal contractor, where she led successful driver-focused programs to boost hiring and retention. At Stevens, Serena will focus on enhancing the driver experience and supporting growth in the student and contractor divisions. She'll work closely with teams company-wide to drive performance and support long-term goals. Stevens Transport looks forward to the leadership and strategic vision Serena brings to the team. Switching focus, Stevens Transport is proud to welcome James Rockwell as the new Regional Manager of Enterprise Sales. With nearly 20 years of experience in business development and logistics, James brings a strong background from several leading transportation firms. His combined knowledge of operations and sales will be a valuable asset as Stevens continues to expand its business development efforts. Stevens Transport is excited for the energy, drive, and expertise James brings to the team and looks forward to his impact as the company continues to grow. Shifting from new arrivals to Driver Appreciation Week. It was a week to remember at Stevens Transport as the company celebrated National Truck Driver Appreciation Week with events honoring the men and women who keep America moving. Drivers were treated to delicious meals, fun contests, and special events like the Truck Rodeo and the Ultimate Chili Cook-Off. The hot freight and chili plates from the contractor division claimed the Chili Crown with over 20 teams competing. Vendor partners helped make daily raffles possible, awarding exciting prizes to drivers both on and off the yard. Driver recruiting took home the door decorating grand prize for the 3rd year in a row. A special Roadside radio episode, hosted by Tim Ciccarelli, spotlighted Stevens Transport's 45-year legacy and the vital role of its drivers. From food and games to heartfelt appreciation, it was all about celebrating the people behind the wheel. Stevens Transport says the celebration doesn't stop here. They honor their drivers every day. Stay informed and inspired by the stories that shape our industry. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Stevens Transport News Bulletin. Have a great day.
Well, there she is. Let's pump the brakes in episode 162 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. If you found this podcast because you're searching for a brand new career, please make sure you visit the episode notes. We will have phone numbers and every link possible for you to learn more about Stevens Transport and even schedule a call with one of our recruiters. All the information is in the episode notes. And like we said earlier, please follow or subscribe to this podcast from whichever platform you're enjoying it from and share it with one of your fellow drivers. We sure would appreciate it. And finally, my name is Tim Cicerelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. Thanks for joining me. And until next time, be safe out there. And thanks for listening to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.